you so much for giving me a chance to talk. I I hope this talk would turn out fruitful. So I've got a bachelor's and master's in structural engineering and mechanics from Sharif University in Tehran, and then a PhD in aerospace engineering from Texas A&M. And then I've done two postdocs, one at the University of Cambridge and one at UPenn in Philadelphia. And over the past 6 or 7 months, I've been a visiting assistant professor at Embry-Riddle University in Florida. And it's been quite some time, at least 2 years, since I've been actively involved in applying for faculty positions, and a little bit less, but comparatively, for industrial research and development positions as well. So that's the overall background that I have. My areas of expertise are mainly in solid mechanics and computational material science, but also in structural mechanics, and everything associated with structures. So that's basically my research activity. The questions that I have are basically with respect to the shortcomings that I have felt over the past 2 years of applying for positions, particularly for academia. I have sensed that, first of all, I don't interview well. Secondly, I don't present well. By presenting well means presenting legibly and coherently to general audience. And thirdly, I've been having a hard time, getting networked. So I have network deficiency basically, and that has been one of my main shortcomings. That my postdoc advisors and some other people whom I've known are either reluctant to recommend me for positions, either from the beginning or after some time, after like a few times of recommending me for positions. So these are the main obstacles that I have heard getting settled, especially for academia.
So, Turkey, can you come to the questions that you have around this? What you are expecting from this discussion, if I may ask?
So, well, I'm trying to find ways to remedy or improve
Okay.
these deficiencies as much as possible.
Okay. So again, this is this very short introduction of you, and I don't know you, so I will tell you a couple of things. One question I have is, what's your status here in US? Are you a green card or?
Yeah.
Okay. Talking to you, I feel you have a passion for academia. I feel that. I may be wrong. And I
Yeah,
feel
that's
like
true.
you have been trying very hard to break that, and it's not happening, and it has been quite frustrating for you.
Yeah.
One thing you highlighted to me is, which I will say is the biggest red flag, and I think you know that well too, is you telling me that the recommendations from your advisor either are not that great or they are reluctant to refer you.
It's been mainly from my postdoc advisors, and upon my search, they are pretty much the same for almost all of their postdocs.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to tell you here is, no
Mhm.
matter how good you are. And
Mhm.
it's very frustrating the way the system is.
Yeah,
Nobody is going to care how great you are if your recommendations are going to suck.
that's right.
Your advisor should be saying you are the best, not one of the best, the best. Then everything goes beyond that. Especially with academia, where just imagine how many people apply for one position, and everybody's saying my student is best, and everybody has papers, and everybody essentially is good. People who apply for academia are people who have 50 papers, 30 papers. So paper is not a problem. So and here's the other thing too. They will ask you to submit those recommendations. There is no if and but. You have no choice. And I don't know how you can circumvent that.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to tell you is you
So
in your
even removing postdoc advisor from the list of references, that would even make it worse, according
no,
to,
because you're gonna say, right, I did my postdoc here and there.
yeah,
How you can remove that? And as I said, this is unfortunate. I don't like it. It has not helped me a lot, although I never had that trouble. But I always thought, even I'm applying for an award, why I have to ask recommendation? Just talk to me. It doesn't work that way. That's my point. Everything, everything, especially in US, especially if you're starting something, depends very heavily on recommendations. That's very unfortunate. The first job that you will take, even I remember my third job in an industry, they asked my recommendation from my previous manager, which really doesn't happen, but they did. My first job, of course, was based on recommendation in an industry even.
right. And you're still at Lockheed?
Yeah, I work for Lockheed now, but what I'm trying to tell you, it doesn't matter now, to be honest with you, that much. But I had a good relationship with my advisors, and there's nothing wrong. But what I'm saying, this is what happens, what I've seen. If you're 10 years down the road, 15 years down the road, nobody sees that. Nobody cares about your advisor recommendation. But remember what I said, your very first job,
Yeah.
your maybe second job, and depends on where you are and things like that. So recommendations do play a very important role. Where you did your PhD do play a very important role. I remember one time somebody told me when I did my master's from University of Arizona and I was applying for a PhD program. They said, and I told them, and this was a professor at University of Arizona. I said, I want to do an academics. I didn't know him, but he was like a history professor, and his kids were in college. Like his kids were faculty. He told me, Amit, if you want to go to academia, make sure you go to top colleges. That also makes difference. Again, depends on if you're applying for
Mhm.
tier A, tier B, tier C, tier D. But my point here is, what's the point of applying to C and D?
Nothing.
Like it's a waste of time.
It
Yes,
is.
they don't pay you, and the career means nothing. So then better go somewhere where you can make at least good living out of itself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, my
And
problem
again,
is not with my PhD, it's mainly with my postdocs.
yeah, but again, that's
Still,
gonna matter, man. That's gonna matter. I'm telling you, it's gonna matter because they're gonna ask your recommendation, and your recommendation has to be the PI's.
yeah.
You're not gonna submit your recommendation for your somebody whom you took course on. I mean, your recommendations are if you're a PhD, your PhD advisor, maybe somebody from committee,
Mhm.
your postdoc advisor, And if you did postdoc, of course, it's going to be advisor. Who's else going to be? There's no co-PI unless until you have, joint appointment. So that's going to matter. And as I said, I feel like you're clinging that too much now. Time to move on. Otherwise, it's going to be a suicide for your career. It's already is, as far as I think of.
So
The
what's your
more you
recommendation? What's your
move on,
suggestion?
apply heavily to industry.
Have
I
industry.
did. I did that. Let me tell you, I was very much into. I want to go to academics. I had first postdoc for a year and a half. Then I went to Oak Ridge. I had a second postdoc. And in the meantime, I was giving interviews. I got some interviews, but nothing was happened. And then at the same time, I got my green card. And then I'm like, done. And still, I thought even I was applying, I was in the industry. Still, I was publishing. My publication didn't, and I didn't stop writing till next year, last year. And not the last year, but 2, 3 years down the road, I think I was still hoping I will go. But you have to leave that. And then my interest changed too, of course. Because once you start working in industry, your interest change, you see different things in a different way. And then I thought I was doing much better. So that's also a separate story. But what I'm trying to tell you is don't fixate it. If you think in your brain, and I'm telling you, one postdoc, two, done. Beyond that is a suicide. Trust me. And anything you get after that, scientist position, research professor position, this and that in a university are garbage. They are not tenured position. You're wasting your time. So put your 100,000% energy to apply for an industry and move on.
So then,
Because what will happen is you will not be eligible for a entry level position, which you are not, and nobody's going to give you a lateral position because that's a totally different ballgame. They will ask you industrial experience on things and that, this and that. And I used to think that they are wrong, but I think they are right. That's a different thing. Although the work is not technical at all. Very few people do technical work, but the work culture is very different. The the
um,
the the dynamics or the pace is very different. The pace
yeah,
is extremely agile.
yeah. So then there's going to be a transition of temperament from an
A
academic
huge.
temperament to an industrial temperament, because I've gone through a few industrial interviews as well, but they turned out even worse than my academic interviews because I did not have the temperament to convince them that I want to be in the industry.
Turkey, one thing I will tell you, it has nothing to do with the temperament. I think if I have to say, I may be wrong, but the more you're gonna wait, the more failures you're gonna see, the more you're gonna be underconfident, and it's a cycle. I don't think it's anything to do with some kind of temperament or something. I mean, think yourself when you were doing PhD versus now. Underconfidence is not good at all. It brings you down, and then you start questioning everything. And the reason you do it because you're not making right decisions. As a human nature, our thought should be like, for example, if I'm working on something, and even now it's true, and if I don't seek a reward or see a reward, I get demotivated, and then it's a spiral. I need rewards because the reward can bring confidence in me. It builds more confidence. I'm more sure what I'm doing is right. So it's up to me how I do that, how I'm careful around that. And in your case, because as I said, there has been no reward, it could be possible that it's not like you are looking at different things. It's just like you may be more underconfident. And as I said, I may be wrong, but I want to figure that out what is there. So put yourself together and and
So you
and,
say
and
I'm probably suffering more from lack of confidence than lack of skills?
I think you have all the skills. I mean, with a PhD and two postdocs, are you kidding me? If that's the right job, if that's the job you're applying, I think it's more about you are questioning everything. Am I right? Am I right? Yeah, I think you know more than me. I don't know things that what you do. My background is mechanics of materials too. I don't know many things, but I can tell you I can crack any interview. You understand
How
my
do you do
point?
that?
I think I figured out the recipe, and as I said to you, I will tell you. Okay, here's the magic. If you ask me the recipe, one of the recipe is which has worked every time for me. I can apply to any job I want, and I don't get an interview. But if there is a job I know this is meant for me, and I have applied it with my full conviction, I have got interview and I have nailed it. So that means if you know this is the job for you, don't slack. Make sure you put your heart throughout when you're applying it. Cover letter, CV, whatever. The second thing, very careful. What they are asking for and what your resume is presenting should be the answer sheet of that questionnaire. If they are saying you should know how to run Python, and if you say no and you fill all 10, you're out. That has, as I said, it has to be the answer sheet. They're like, oh man, this guy is meant for this job, right? And a lot of time people do. I don't think in your case, think that's the case where people just wake up in the morning and just upload and up CVs, right? That's also the wrong thing to do. The third thing I would say, be careful when you apply. So let's say, as an example, you think Tesla is one of the best companies you like to work for, and there's a job there, and you fulfill 50% and not the 50. Avoid applying because once the HR sees your resume, trust me, and it happens very much. Once your resume is out there, you will see the amount of interviews and hits you are getting goes down. They're not going to see your CV again. It's in your database already. Be careful. Right? So these are certain things you have to be careful about the keywords that they're looking. Sometimes the bots are looking into your CV and you want to make sure all the keywords are there, what they're looking for. Maybe you have everything, but they're not the keyword. Who knows? I mean, the HR people are not injuring people. So they look what they do. They look for keywords and search around and they're like, yeah, this is the one. But first thing first, I would say, get out from that that thing that I want to go for an academy. If it hasn't worked so far, most likely it will won't.
Yeah.
Take
So
that
the
out.
thing is, yeah, I've been invited for a couple of excellent places this year, and I would like to give them a try, at least as my last resort.
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
I'm not saying here's the thing. I'm not gonna say don't do it. I'm gonna say judge yourself, and you need to
mhm.
put a deadline to that because the more you're gonna wait, I can tell you that part. What is going to happen? This vicious cycle you are in as a postdoc and this and that is not a good one. It can ruin your career. And
Okay.
then, as I said,
So
I can't.
if I'm offered a third postdoc, I should not take it.
Dude, if you have no choice, what are you gonna do? That's my point. That's the vicious cycle I'm talking about. The third, the fourth, the fifth. Are you kidding me?
Right.
That's the vicious cycle I'm talking about. It is gonna harm you, then hurt you, then make it any useful out of you. Have you seen any people who have done third or fourth postdoc, anything good out of it? Everything happens within first.
Yeah, I've seen a few, if I want to be honest, I've seen a few. But then they ended up, lingering around for around 10 years until they could line up something in the academia.
There's a saying, you want to die, you don't want to die rich, you want to be rich right now. What are you gonna, everybody will have money when they're 80. What are you gonna do with that? What's the
Right.
use of that money? I mean, right now you need money because you want to send your kids to a good school, you want to have $1 million house. At 80, everybody will have money. You will have, I will have. What am I going to do with that? So, what I'm trying to say, you need to do things, right things at the right time. You can say, yeah, after 10 years, good luck. I mean, I won't, I would be not be doing it. What that is at 50-year-old, what I'm going to do with that money,
Mhm. Yeah.
and what I'm going to do as a 50-year-old assistant professor. That's like, I mean, I mean, at 30, I want to be assistant professor, not 50.
Yeah.
So even if they offer you a assistant professor position when you're 50 year old, good luck. This is a progression. The career has to be progression. 50 year, I would see somebody to be a VP and director, not assistant professor. Somebody to be who is a full professor probably. But
Yeah.
sometimes, I mean, I would like to see someone at 40, 42 as a full professor, but 50, you should be like thinking of retiring, man.
Yeah.
So do things at the right time so that you can savor the fruits. You have everything, like you have a green card. What's the point of having that green card? Let me ask you that. I mean, it's better that someone has a H-1B visa and is a director. Why? What the point? You didn't use it wisely. Then that advantage you had.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of
Well,
people cry
I've
because they
gained
don't have it.
some advantage from it, but not to its capacity.
Dude, you should be taking like a big advantage of it. I don't think you are doing it.
Yeah.
Unless you have a side business where you are making million, which you don't want to tell. That's a separate thing.
No. So I don't know if you looked at both my CVs. So does the one that I have drafted for industry look good to you?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, don't make it too lengthy. Three, four, 5 pages are fine. If you have 50 paper, just put top five. Don't have to put more. What I do, I put my Google Scholar link. Somebody is really interested, click on it and go and watch it.
Okay.
If I have published 10 books, I'm gonna write two. If I have received 20 awards, I'm gonna put five. If I have my done my thesis, I'm gonna write a title. I'm not gonna write an abstract. That's a waste of time. Nobody reads it. I will be more focused on the job profile and what they are asking. That's what I want to write. I want to write what they want to see. I don't want to write what I want. I want to write what they want. They want to hear. That's what I'm saying. If you like a job, make a personalized CV. That has worked me all the time. It has worked me at Rolls Royce. It has worked me at my role at ANSYS. It had worked me in my Lockheed. Was out of the blue. I saw it. I said, I think what they're asking, I'm the one. I applied it. I knew I'm going to get an interview. I knew it right away. And I did it. And then they said, hey, do you have a citizenship? I said, oops, because they in Lockheed, they want citizen or any defense contractor. So I said, can you wait? Because I can apply. Because I had a green card. I was just not, I was lazy enough not to apply citizenship. So they waited for 2 months, the manager, assuming I was so good that they what they wanted. But then the first talk they had on phone, I give my I took a oath. Next day I went for interview,
Great.
and then the week
I'm
after
glad.
I had an offer. So that's how it worked. That's the
That's great.
reality. Yeah.
That's great.
But then
Okay.
the many times where times are bad, this and that, mm, like this year is a slow year for sure. We are having little layoffs, then hiring. The hiring is freeze. But then it's a cycle. You have seen that once you probably you graduate, people say the same thing. So don't listen to that crap too much. Keep doing the right thing. But as I told you, if you're, it's more about, as I said, doing the right thing. Sometimes, the love for something is dangerous. I will tell you, I love material science. I still do, but I don't want to get hostage and leave many other amazing things. Because one thing I realized is this is not just one thing. I started doing my MBA and I started realizing I like finance too. There's so many good, amazing things. What happens is with PhD, we put this persona on our head that this is the world's greatest things, and that's fucking kills you. It's a myth. It's a myth, my friend. There are so many great things in the world, and the way I see it is that PhD might be a stepping stone for me to do something other great things. And I want to forget about that. That's how I see the world. Tomorrow, what I do, I might do something else after 3 years or 4 years because I want to grow too. And as I said, there are a lot of things, lot of amazing things other than just doing research in material science, which is amazing. No, don't get me wrong. Once you have a PhD, that always stuck with you. But you can use that leverage as an advantage to reach other heights, not stuck in that and just move around that. And you will realize a lot of professors who have done that are one of the great professors. They start doing a lot of new things with what they develop rather than someone who just do the same thing for the last 20 years, they die. So same goes for them.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem, Turkey. I
Quite
think,
useful.
as I said, you have every right thing to do. You need to figure it out that I need that reward now. Underconfidence is not good. Pull yourself. You will be fine. I would say tomorrow, if you get something, you will be all back in game. It's just a matter of time, also sometimes. And but realizing, like you mentioned about third postdoc, I would be, I would be alarmed. But as I said, if you have nothing else to do and kids need to eat food, we have to do something. I remember when I got laid off, I was thinking I might work at McDonald's. Who cares? That happens, and that can happen all the time.
Yeah,
But
that's
you need to
exactly the
watch.
situation I am in. So,
No.
uh,
I have full sympathy with you. Don't get me wrong. But what I'm saying is, you are the only one who can help yourself. And if you know the decision is wrong in your brain, that means it's wrong. That means you can probably rely on it, but don't make it your full, like rely on it and move along and just keep blind eye and you know what I mean? Like blind eye and you're like, okay, things will be fine. No. Wrong means wrong. You're just delaying the problem. That's all.
right.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. Any closing comments or
No, I think it's all good. As I said, I've spoken to a lot of students who are in your situation, postdocs. In fact, I was thinking of writing a LinkedIn notes yesterday about that. Exactly the same thing because I spoke to a couple of people who are in this situation, and I told them the only thing they I think they don't accept it. That's all. They know the problem, and my job is to tell them you are absolutely right. Accept it and work on it. Don't keep a blind eye. It's not going to help you. So if your heart thinks is wrong, it's definitely is wrong. Okay.
thanks again. Yeah,
Uh, and if I see something, I will forward you definitely. I have your CV. If I see some jobs or something, I can forward you. That's not a problem.
that would be great. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So the biggest suffer that I have right now, this situation, apart from frustration after frustration, is the problem of unemployment right now with this inflation that is going on.
Oh yeah.
But
No,
that
no,
that
I
that can serve as a, as an enticement for, accepting
Absolutely.
lower level jobs that I don't really deserve.
Oh, yes. And imagine then what will happen to you.
Yeah,
You will be the biggest victim of that. Nobody else. Because you have done a lot of hard work, man. I know I know exactly what you're going through. It's not like I didn't have a job. I had a really good job, lost it, and no job for 2 months. And it has happened twice. It can happen again. But I want to be ready. But also that's also taught me what to do, because this time around when I saw something happening, I knew what I need to do to save myself. And there are people I heard yesterday got laid off. They didn't know. I realized what was wrong. What wrong I was doing when I was as a kid in the game. So, and who knows what will happen. But what I'm saying is, this is the cycle. That's a real life. That's why we call it real life, right? You have to go through it. Tomorrow you get a job in an industry and you're all happy. Next day something happens. So
right. Okay, thank you so much again.
yeah, no problem, Turkey. Nice
Try to be
talking to you. And
engaged.
as I said, if I find something, I will send it to you. And I will send you a link to comment. Just if you get time, do that. Okay.
Sure. Thanks
Bye,
again.
man.